Hi class, we are going to review what we did in class, which is called the Smart Object Patterns, where in the end it's really effective because you can quickly change 1, 2, 3 patterns inside of your pattern. Let's say we're doing wrapping paper, which I talked about. You can go in and change some of the patterns to reflect some kind of different imagery, and it's really, really fun and efficient. Let's get started. We're going to create a new file. And in that file, we're going to make that file, let's make it 900 pixels by 900 pixels at 300 ppi. I'm going to call this Smart Object Pattern and click OK. Okay, so now we have our file, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a rectangular marquee along this, and I'm going to just use my guides on the rulers. I'm looking up here at my rulers when I measure. That's one way that you can do this. You can also use your guides, but I'm just going to use my ruler, come on down, and do the same thing on this side. There we go. Something like that. And then once you do that, you're going to come in and create a solid color fill. This will be the background color. You can get anyone. I'm just going to use a navy, kind of dark indigo blue, and click OK. So then we've got our solid color fill. Then it's attached to this layer mask, which is masking off the solid color fill. The next step is to create a shape. I'm going to go down in your drop-down menu, go all the way down to custom shape. You can create your own shapes, which would be preferable. But just to get the hang of it, let's use some of these. And again, I'm going to choose the snail. You can pick any one of them, but I'll pick a snail. And I'm going to make that snail, you know, obviously any color, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and kind of pick this orangey tone. Now, I want to make sure when I create the shape that it doesn't go over the white outside of the image, and it's going to have to be cut exactly in half, because what we're going to do is place one on this side and then exactly one on the other, so that when we extend the pattern, these sides match. That's really critical. So we have our first shape, and there it is. Now what I'm going to do is turn that into, let's see, a smart object here. And you can do that by command clicking on the thumbnail. You can also find smart objects in your layer menu. And then the other place is in your secret little sub menu over here in your layer panel. Excellent. So now what I want to do is move that over. But actually, before I do, let's remember too, these are really helpful tools to choose show, smart objects, and also snap, because then it'll really place your objects in an elegant fashion. So I'm going to come in and set that up, and it should snap for you. Try this side. And you can start anywhere here. Not feeling the snap, and the snap's kind of helpful, but we'll go here with it. That looks pretty good. And then now that that's a smart object, and you can tell because of this little icon, I'm going to duplicate it. Now the fast way to duplicate is Command J or Control J. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm using my shortcut Command J, duplicating the layer, and with the Shift key held down, I'm going to move this snail to the other side. I don't like that. I'm hoping that's a pretty good match. My snap is not working very well. Then I'm going to Command J again and place the next one in here. And again, Command J, and you're going to continue to do this along the edges. Now, something you can do also is you can rotate your different shapes. If you want to have some rotation, that's good too. I might do that on a few of these. Command J will duplicate it. And you could, of course, rotate that. Edit, transform, free transform. And you can also rotate them. Press return. I'm going to make sure my snap is on. Yeah. And bring this one in. And then Command J. And we're just aligning these, and hopefully they'll match up. You can always alter them later if you need them to match up a little better. I don't really seeing my snap very well. And then Command J. I'm going to rotate that one. Command T is rotate. So just transform and place that on the next section. Pressing return after every transform. Now I'm going to zoom in a little so that I can see this a little better. Oh, there we go, a little bit better. Command J, Shift key, always remember that because you see how helpful that is. And you just keep repeating this, and I'm going to keep going along the edges. Command J, do one over here. And then Command J, Shift, come on over to the other side. Okay, once you get those in, you're going to just fill in the center with a variety of these. Command J, move that in, and I just kind of balance them out in here. That looks good there. Command J, move them around. So that Command J is just duplicating these. I'll transform that so it's a little more random. Placing these in a variety of areas. And Command T, just placing them in here randomly, like so. Command T, Command J. So we're just kind of filling up the space beautifully. One more down here. Like so. Anyway, you kind of balance those out, and I like it to be a little more random. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to create a pattern from that. Now the way that you do that is you scroll down to your original layer mask, and all you have to do is command click on this or control click on it. I'm going to command click on a Mac. And this is going to select that original rectangular marquee selection that you had earlier. And then what we're going to do with that is define just that area as a pattern. These extraneous ones on the white are just going to extend outward, and you're going to see that in a minute, because this should be on this side. Hopefully they match up, and if they don't, you can always fix it. There's our pattern. I'll call this snail. Snail, click OK. And now we have a pattern. Okay, just to show that, let's create a new file. And let's make this larger. Let's go ahead and make this 1800. Double it. And of course, you could make this 11 by 17 or whatever size you want. And I'll just call this pattern and click OK. Great. And this is where we can create and see the pattern down here in your adjustment layer, once you create your new file, it's the third one down in pattern. There we have it. And of course I could move some. I can see now maybe I need to move a few of those, and I can go back to the original file and do that. But just remember, the ones on the edge you need to move together because they are lined up. So that's about what that looks like. You can see too, I just want to point out, some of them didn't, like this one didn't line up, so I would go back and double check that back here. So what that means is one of these probably didn't line up completely accurately. Anyway, I'm going to keep going for time's sake because I only have a short amount of time on these recordings. So now we've got a bunch of these wonderful little shapes chosen, and just to show you, I can click on any one of these and it will open up the little container of just one. It's just sort of made up little reality, and it's going to take a look at just that one. Now if I change the color of this, all of them are going to change, and let's do that. I'm going to double click on the shape and let's just make it yellow. Click OK. Now to make the change on your pattern, just save. I've saved that, so I can go back to the original file that we created, and now you can see that the color has changed, all of them, even though I only changed one. That's because I made the first one a smart object and duplicated it, so they all became linked. Now the next step is, if you wanted to change just a few of these to a different design, you've got to command click on those layers in your layer panel. So you can just pick them. Like I might say I want that one, and then I'm going to get some that are a little further away, maybe this one, and you just hold down the command or control key, command on a Mac, control on a PC, and you go through these, and I use my eyeballs to see which ones are which. I'll command click on this, and then if I command click on this one, I've got to get the other side, so I'm going to look for that here. There it is, and I'll command click on that. So you can pick as many as you want, but there we have those. Now what I'm going to do is I take those and I'm going to make those another smart object. So I'll go to the layer menu and turn those into a smart object. They will then all get on one smart object layer right here. So they've all been kind of unified into a layer. Here's the trick. We're going to click on this combined super smart object. Click OK, and that's going to show us these. Now they're all kind of connected also, so now what you need to do is just click on any one of these and we're going to switch out the design. So I'll just double click on that. Here it is, this little snail, and I'm going to get another smart object, I'm going to get another custom shape and switch this out. So this time we'll grab the bunny. You can get any of these just for fun, just to learn it. And hold your shift key down for proportion. I'll come in, got to fit it inside the box nicely. I'll change the color of that to a pink and move that in to my design like that. And you don't want it to go too far over the edge. That looks good. Then you turn off the original design because you want this replaced. If you leave it on, you're going to have both of them show up. So I'm turning this on, turning this off, clicking on the eyeball for the bunny, and then I'm going to go ahead and save that. Once you save that, watch what happens in your original file. Oh, before you do that, you've got to save. Hang on. Okay, hang on. I had to check my work here. Once you save that original file, come back to the next one next to it where we had the combined ones. We're going to have to save that also. Go save. Once you saved both of those, the changed one here, and then the one that had the group of super smart objects, then when you come over here, you should see that the ones that you changed indeed have the new cool